Hey guys, it's Mishal. In this video, I want to talk to you about something really important. I want to talk to you all about change. People resist change. Why do you think people resist change? Because change is uncomfortable. Every time you're gonna have to change certain aspect of yourself, certain aspect, specific aspect of your business, it requires you to step into the unknown. And every time you're stepping into the unknown, it makes you feel uncomfortable. Understand this, change is happening whether you like it or not. Change is inevitable, but still people resist change. Either you are changing by choice, intentional, accidental, or you are changing by force, but change is going to happen. Let me give you an example. Now, before pandemic, we had so many businesses in India who did not have a website. We are in 2020 and still so many businesses are running their business without any website, right? They did not do any digital marketing, but then pandemic, it shut down the entire nation for more than 3 months. So now their livelihood is dependent on their business. So if they still do not sell their products and services, if they do not pivot immediately, they're out of the business. The family is going to suffer. The employee are going to suffer. So now they pivot, and now so many businesses are now extremely active. So that happened by force. Understand this, it doesn't matter if you like it or not, change is happening. Okay, so now in this video I want to talk to you about 7 reasons people resist change. Number 1 is the traditions and the habits of the past. Now, humans are the creatures of their past habits. Let me ask you this. Why do you think so many businesses are struggling? Why do you think so many businesses are failing? Not because they're entrepreneur and the business owner doesn't know the niche market. Not because they're stupid or they don't know what they're talking about, or they don't know their products and services. Okay, the reason these guys are failing, the businesses who had a legacy of about 50 years, they are failing because of the obscurity. Number 1, people don't know about you, they cannot do business with you. And the another reason they are failing, because they're still doing things as if it is 1999. You need to understand that your market has changed, your consumer has changed, their buying habits have changed. People right now are spending obnoxious amount of time on the internet. As I said it in the beginning in my introduction, that we have so many businesses in India that still do not do anything on the internet, right? Because they're emotionally hooked with the idea of doing things old ways. They still want to use the old ways of doing marketing. They still want to do old ways of communicating with their customers. If you are not figure out a way to do something on the internet, you will cease to exist. You will become ancient with time. Understand this. At one stage in the history, dinosaurs were the most dominant force on this planet Earth. Now dinosaurs did not exist, right? They refused to change, and now they do not walk on this planet Earth no more. Understand this, it doesn't matter you got a history of 50 years, you got a legacy of 50 years, you got to change right now. It doesn't matter that this strategy, one particular strategy worked for about 20 years, it's not going to work in this market space, right? You're going to have to change. Either you do it with intentionally, or you're going to change by the force. Number 2 is people resist change when rewards don't match up with the efforts required. Now, what kind of action your people are going to take if they find out the rewards after working extremely hard is not that great? Okay, forget about your employees. If you are going to the gym and if you're not going to see any results after 3 months of excruciating diet and working extremely hard in the gym for 3 to 4 times a week, it's not going to motivate you. It's not going to change your behavior. It's not going to change your any actions, and you are going to resist the hard work for the rest of your life, right? You want your people to work extremely hard. You want your people to keep working on the skill set. You want your people to show up for work early, and you even want them to go out of their comfort zone every now and then. You want them to work extremely hard even over the weekend, but then there is no ROI, there is no return on their investments. You want your people to make extra calls, to talk to 150 people a day, but then they're not progressing in their career. They're not going to change their behavior. It is not going to change the behavior and actions radically. And who do you think it is going to hurt? It's going to hurt you the most. More importantly, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to paint them a picture where you're showing them if you're not going to work extremely hard, there are going to be consequences of it. Then you are going to have to magnify that pain and also have to make them visualize what's going to happen if we are putting incredible amount of work. What are the rewards of it? Then change become an extremely natural process. But the moment people have even the slightest confusion about the reward system, they're never going to put in the work. And I say this in the sales-driven organization all the time, that if your people who are busting their tail for you, if they do not understand the commission structure, if the commission structure is way complicated for them to understand, it's never going to inspire any of their actions. It's never going to motivate them to make those 150 calls. It's never going to motivate them to do their presentation, or it's never going to inspire them to work even over the weekend, because they can't understand how are they going to make money, right? So it's not going to influence any of their actions. So if your people do not understand the reward system, if the reward do not match up with the hard work it requires, that they're never ever going to change. So for them, you're going to have to make it your commission structure or your reward system stupidly simple. The next one is people resist change when the purpose is unclear. Now understand this, nobody wants to change their eating habits just for the sake of it. Nobody wants to transform their business just for the sake of it. Nobody wants to get up at 5 in the morning and go to the gym when it's 5 degrees outside. It's raining cats and dogs, when people you love are still sleeping and it is pitch black. Nobody likes to work out, right? Why would someone at the age of 57 want to get into a debt of $500,000 when they only have 7 to 8 years left in the workforce? Why would someone want to get into real estate investment at the age of 58, at the age of 60, when they know that they only have 5 to 6 years left in the workforce? They already had a debt for 25 years. They paid off their home. Now they just want to enjoy their life. But again, as I said, millions of people get into real estate investment around that age. Maybe because they do not want to be financially dependent on their kids when they retire. Maybe they want to leave some sort of a legacy for the kids. Maybe they want to travel the world. Maybe they want to maintain a certain kind of a lifestyle when they retire. Now the purpose is clear, right? Understand this, there's nothing I can do or say right now is going to control your behavior, right? I cannot control your actions. Now, you could be one of the greatest communicators the world has ever seen, but you still cannot control the perception of other people. You can only influence it. And the way to influence the action of other people is making the purpose clear. So the next one is fear of failure. Now, one of the biggest reasons people hate changing is the fear of failure. What if I start the business and I fail? What if I lose all my money in that business? What would my parents, my friends, or my siblings think about me? What if I decide to move out of the city and I don't like in the new city? What would my friends think about me when I move back into my parents' house? Let's say that you are about to make the most important decisions of your life, but you are scared and you are procrastinating on making the decision. Ask yourself, what if I make the decision? Can I live with the worst case scenario? What if you invest in a share market, you invest 50% of your savings in the share market, and there is a market crash the next day and you lose 50% of your saving? Can you live with that outcome? So this is what I used to do with my clients all the time. I would ask them an off-the-cuff question for them to move closer to making a decision. I would just ask them, again, very off the cuff, that what would be the worst possible outcome if we catch up for 45 minutes and I walk you through all your options, all your strategies. We pitch a property side of the business, and after spending 45 minutes with you, you still think that the information that you have is not enough for you to invest in a property. what would be the worst possible outcome? You may be sort of wasting 45 minutes of your time, may cost you a cup of tea, but let me tell you that you are not wasting your time, right? Now you have the information that you did not have in the past, and now you can actually be sure that you definitely do not want to go ahead with investing in property. But only this time you have some tangible information and knowledge and intelligence in your hand to make an informed decision. Ask yourself, what would be the worst possible outcome if you make a certain decision and it doesn't work out at all? Can you live with that outcome? If the answer is emphatic yes, move ahead with the decision. Act in spite of fear of failure. So the next one is the fear of the unknown. Understand this. Change requires you to step into the unknown. It requires you to step into the enchanted territories. And every time you're stepping into the unknown, you do not know what to expect, and it's going to make you feel uncomfortable. It's going to elevate your anxiety level. But understand this, and understand this well. Change requires you to do things that you never done before to get the results you never gotten before. The problem with far too many people are they have massive and many assumptions. They assume that just because something is uncomfortable, just because you are doing something that you never done before, that's a bad thing. I remember the first time I got on the treadmill. I never got onto the treadmill before that time, right? My personal best on the treadmill at that point was about 10 seconds. After 10 seconds, I would think that my every fiber of my being would shout for me to get off the treadmill. I would think that I would die on a treadmill. My heart would implode, but I kept on pushing. It was making me feel uncomfortable. It was making me feel really, really nervous, but I knew that this is good for me, so I kept on pushing my boundaries. And after 3 months, my personal best on a treadmill was about 45 minutes. Just because something is uncomfortable is not a bad thing. When you start your business for the first time, the first few times it's going to be really uncomfortable, right? You're juggling way too many balls, okay? You got way too many balls up in the air, and it's going to make you feel anxious. It's going to make you feel uncomfortable, but that's not a bad thing. If you're going to do something for the first time, it has to make you feel uncomfortable. The next one is people resist change when they're too satisfied with their current situation. What do I mean by that? People are never ever going to change when they are happy and satisfied with their current situation. People are never going to invest in their future if they are way too comfortable with their financial situation at the present moment, right? So how do you change that? You quickly have to make them feel uncomfortable and unsatisfied with their current financial situation. You ask them quality questions. Here's the thing about the questions, guys. Questions are extremely powerful, but if you're going to ask someone a lousy question, you are going to get the lousy response. But if you're going to ask them quality questions, you're going to get the quality answers. I used to do this all the time with my clients. So average age of my clients when I used to do the investment property for living was around 57 years of age. So every time the clients were a little bit hesitant with their investment property choices, I would just walk them through a scenario. I would just ask them, okay, I understand, John, that you're not 100% there yet to make your move. Let me ask you a few questions so I could serve you better. How much you want to retire with, right? And he would say, I'm not sure. Let's say the $600,000, $700,000 by the time I retire. I would have those stats at my disposal, so I would just throw it out off the cuff. Now, according to the recent survey, that you will need approximately $1 million in your retirement to maintain a reasonable standard of living, right? So do you think $1 million is a good money to retire with? Would you agree? Yes? Okay, get a yes out of your clients. Okay, so ask open-ended questions. I would gather more information that I can use in my conversation with the client. Okay, I would say, okay, John, based on the information I have, I understand that you and your spouse have about $250,000 in the retirement fund. Would that be right? You are 55 at this stage and your wife is 55 as well. You are on $80,000 of your income and your wife is around $50,000, right? So let's let's say that everything goes according to the plan and you work on you and your spouse both work on the 10 years by the time you guys have to retire. So based on the current informations, you are going to accumulate another 76,000 towards your retirement fund, and your wife is going to accumulate 47,500 based on 9.5% employer's contribution. Would you agree? So that's another 123,500 in the next 10 years towards your retirement. You have 250 at this stage, another 123,500, that makes to 373,500 by the time you will retire, right? So in next 10 years, John, you and your spouse are going to have 373,500. Now we have established that you will need about $1 million. So the news is you are running at a deficit of $600,000. Now he's got my attention. Now he's uncomfortable with his current financial situation. Now he's gonna do whatever he has to do to make his move. Now he is going to do whatever he has to do to get to that level where he can retire at the age of 65 with $1 million in his retirement fund. Now he's gonna invest in a property. There are so many people out in the world, they do their real investment at the age of 55 when they realize that they haven't got much going on for them. If they don't make a different choice, they're gonna end up working for the rest of their life. So the last one is really simple, really basic. Understand this: people are going to resist change, fight change if they think that it is not their idea. As I said in the middle of the video, that you could be the greatest communicator the world has ever seen. You could be the greatest negotiator the world has ever seen. But you cannot twist anyone's arm and control their actions. We do not have any control over other people's reaction. We do not have any control over other people's action. What you can do is you can only influence their actions. You can only influence their behavior by leading by examples. You are going to have to ask them real questions. What are their goals? What are their dreams? Okay, what really gets you going? You're gonna have to make people realize that it is not your idea, but it is their own reasoning that they're gonna have to make this decision. As I said, guys, people are never ever going to change if they think that you're shoving down your ideas and perceptions about the world down their throat, right? People are going to use their own reasoning to make an informed decision. You're gonna have to find a way and make them realize that it is their own idea. Now that's my time, guys. Now before I let you go, I need to ask you a super quick favor. If you like the content, resonated with anything what I had said in this video, it would mean world to me if you like this video. Subscribe this channel, hit the bell icon so you can receive the notification every time I'm coming with a new video. Thanks for your time. Thanks for sticking around. I'll see you next time.